My name is Dr. Rafiu or Ladipo.
My name is Baba Jalal Repega.
I'm Reverend Juliet Binitie.
I'm Didi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Suleiman.
Souq News is on the ground, loading.
Very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to Souq News.
So I'm happy that Souq TV has come into existence.
I'm happy to be here in the Souq News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for. And I think Souq News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and Souq News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching Souq News.
Keep watching Souq News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching Souq News.
Hi and welcome. Today we have a seasoned music industry expert with experience as a road manager and A&R. Before A&R became a thing in Nigeria, he has been doing it. From understanding artist dynamics to business intricacies, our guest offers unique insights, especially in the Nigerian music industry. Let's dive into this amazing conversation. We will be right back.
I've known you for over a decade. I mean, I was at the first plug party and I'm like, oh my God, ooh. I was still in uni and I didn't really know how music business was and everything, but I was studying mass communication and I was like, I'd like to be part of this. And then I was telling my friends, and like, oh, I'd like to do something with entertainment. Mind you, I hated broadcasting and I did PR and advertising, but you have been in the business for over a decade. When do you think was the turning point that music was a valuable business for you?
I mean, to be honest, music has always been a very big business for me. That's part of the reason why I got into it. So I can't say there was a time that there will be the turning point. Like for me, music made me move back to Nigeria, to get my first job with Storm Records. So, it's always been very important to me and precious. So I don't think anything has changed besides me just, building a wider network of people I know and doing more things.
So funny enough, while I was Googling you, like I always do, while I was Googling you, I never knew that I knew you went to school in the UK, but you never said that you studied music business.
Yeah, I did music business.
So you studied music business. Do you know what you were going to do?
Oh yes, I mean I've always been known what I wanted to do and I've been intentional about it.
But did you ever think that you were going to do A&R?
Well, no. I knew I was going to be in the industry and I knew I was going to be something, maybe a manager, some exec in the office or something, but I didn't think of A&R. It was Don Jazzy that made me actually realize I want to become an A&R because I, watched the process of how he made music and, how he thought about what kind of person to put the music. This is way before Ricardo Banks. This is more his days. I watched Jazzy make music in the studio and say, this song will not go bad for this person. This song will not go bad for this person. I'm going to put XYZ on this song. So for me, that made me start, wanting to become an A&R. I'm like, I like what this is, putting people together on records and seeing through like people growing on and developing.
In today's age, right, I would really like to know what the roles of A&R in today's age. I mean, anybody can literally make a TikTok song and then it will blow and not necessarily need A&R.
We've seen things happen with people who blow up from TikTok. There's no talent development there. After the song blows up, what happens with the person's career? What happens with the person's life? So A&R is still 100. That's why record labels are still hiring A&R still tomorrow. Because you need people to develop this talent. It's not just about finding hits. Who's going to develop the guys, groom them, grow them to be able to have the right sound, have the right music out there.
You spoke about record labels. What do you think should be the most important issue to record companies? Is it hit albums, concert sales, or awards?
I mean, to be honest, everything should be important to labels, to be honest. Like, you need hits. Hits brings money. When you have hits, more people want to go to your shows. You get concert sales. And when you have hits, you win awards. So everything is important to everybody, to be honest. Like, it just depends on what are you in the game for. Are you in the game for just awards? Are you in the game for just ticket sales? Or are you in the game for just hits? You know, everything works hand in hand. So you have to be able to use each thing to balance each other.
In recent time, a lot of people have been saying, oh, okay, this person used my song, this person used my song, this person used this. In simple terms, can you break down things like royalties and vast payment, return on investment to people that don't really know?
I mean, to be honest, like for me, it's like if you sample someone's record, all you need to do is take permission, from the person to clear the record and see if you can put it out. It's the same thing Bernard did with Last Laugh. He reached out to the producer and artist on the original song of, and then it wasn't man enough. Told them, look, I'd love to use this. His team reached out, said, look, Bernard sampled this record, and he would love to put it out. And they said came to an agreement. The legal team spoke, said, oh, this is the percentage we want on the song. This is the percentage we want on the song. Everybody agreed, and the songs were released. A lot of younger artists in Nigeria these days now sample records and don't bother clearing it because they don't understand music business. I mean, they don't understand the rules of the game. They don't understand what needs to be done. Everybody's just getting into music, not reading about the rules, not reading about the way things are done, the processes. For me, it's like that's a very difficult thing. And then you asked about royalties. I mean, there are different types of royalties. There's the mechanical royalties and there's the publishing royalties. The mechanical royalties are the ones you make from the songs being streamed from iTunes, Apple Music, XYZ, Spotify, etc. The publishing royalties are the ones where you make from the back end. So your song used in a movie, your song used in a commercial, your song being played on radio, you performing in a venue. Those are the publishing royalties you get. Now, the mechanical royalties, which is from the streaming, is split between the composers of the record and maybe the record label. The publishing royalties is split between the producers, the publishing companies, and the composers as well.
What advice would you give to new musicians that don't really understand the legal aspects?
Get a lawyer. That's not your business. There's nothing to. You just get a lawyer. Your lawyer deals with that. That's not really your business. Understand it. Let your lawyer explain properly to you. But you need a lawyer. That's all.
Going by a recent news report, right? Maybe record is on the market without leaning in too much on the relationship you may means, right? Would you say this is a good or bad investment? The fact that it is valued at that high, open and it's open to being sold. What are your thoughts about it?
We see people building companies and selling. Maybe that's Don Jazzy is tired of doing it and he wants to sell. But also, if he sells, I'm sure he'll still be on the board of the company, running the company somewhere or the other. So it's a different thing. I mean, we saw quality control in the US. They sold recently, LVRN. I mean, it's all part of the businesses, man. You're building things that can outlive you. You're not building businesses for just your time. You're building businesses that when you have kids, they can always get out of it. I mean, that's the same thing that's happening with the oil companies, the banks, XYZs. Like you be on the board. You're able to, pass it down to your family, do things with XYZ. So for me, I don't see anything wrong with that.
What can smaller companies learn from the likes of Chocolate TV, Mavins in terms of business deals and investment?
To be honest, I'll say to you, it varies. Everyone's business model is different. Have a good business model. Look around people and see what they've done. Build a solid team that can help you achieve. I'll say to you that the Chocolate City model is different from the Maven model. It's different from the YBNO model. It's different from the what else? What other labels are there? It's different from all the labels, their models are very different, their business models are different, and each and everyone knows what they're trying to achieve. And I believe they're all being successful at what they do. As a young, small label trying to come up, I feel like first things first is build properly, hire the right people, have a proper structure, get an accountant, a lawyer, I don't know, auditor, people who you need on the label that can help you grow your business to become what it needs to be.
So they say that the music industry doesn't have a structure. And like half of the time, I hear a lot of like, oh my God, your industry, I mean media and entertainment industry, not necessarily the music industry. But like I hear them like music industry, the acting industry doesn't have a structure. Do you think that that's true?
100%, it's very true. There's no structure there. I mean, it's like no one is willing to grow it either. Everyone just cares about themselves. Everyone's doing their own thing. There's no regulations. There's no government body supporting, none of that.
It's like the likes of P-Man.
Yeah, but that's not really a structure. It's like, is P-Man functional? Is it active?
Yes.
Is Burna Boy a member of P-Man? Is Davido a member? Exactly. So my thing is that those things will only become relevant where the people that are running it are not just caring about their pockets alone, but it's like they're trying to make things active change for the industry. It's not just about having P-Man or Koson or one XYZ. What are they doing? We see bodies like that internationally doing things. What are those bodies doing in Nigeria? So.
I mean, why do you think that they are not ready to make sure the music industry here has a structure?
I can't give you the answer. If I knew the answer, I feel like I would have gone to be president of P-Man or Koson. But I feel like everyone here is just really about their pocket and about themselves. No one cares at the end of the day. It's like, but slowly and shortly, I believe 2024 will change all these narratives because this is our future. This is where, this is us. If we don't build it properly, it's gonna fade away.
I mean, and that's what like a lot of people have been worried about, that Afrobeat, if you are not careful with Afrobeat. Do you think that's true? Because I think...
Well, to be honest, look, we saw what happened to dancehall, reggaeton, XYZ. If they build proper structures back home, I don't think the music will have faded away. The music is still there, still being played once in a while. One artist will have a hit or the other. But I don't think it will be now like the way local everybody's in there. If we don't build our own, and we keep looking to just go there and do, but once they feel like we're overtaking them, they'll shut us up.
Concerning catalogs, I remember you said something about charts, right? I remember that you're on the board of Turntable Charts, and within 2023, I noticed Turntable Charts ending of 2022, right? And then I didn't know that you and Oye were board members. I just knew that there was something called Turntable Charts, right? And I have seen them grow. Do you think chart tabling is something that more companies can begin to join in the foreseeable future?
Oh yeah, 100%. I was just having a conversation earlier about that too. Turntable Charts has grown so well. Even the TSN, the Turntable Chart System Nigeria, has grown well as well. People getting plaques. So TSN is doing really well. Artists are celebrating their plaques that they're receiving, and it's beautiful to see.
What are your predictions for Nigerian music in 2024?
It's only going to go up and better. There's more artists, more talented artists doing things. There's more artists getting signed. There's more distribution companies supporting artists. So I know 2024 is amazing, man. The future is bright. I know there's a couple of artists that I know they're going to have a bright 2024. Bunch of new artists.
Any artists?
Yeah, there's a few.
List 1 to 5.
Oh, there's Taves, there's Shine, TTW, there's Raybell, there's Easy Scope, there's Gimba.
Oh, I heard of Gimba.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Okay. An advice that you would give a young person trying to enter the music industry from behind the scenes, not an artist?
Always remember that it's not about you, it's about the artist you work for. And, don't give up. Build a strong network, because to be honest, your network is your net worth, and the more people you know, the more you're able to use it to get things done in your career.
My last question: what are your ideas on developing the Nigerian music industry into a codified business structure so that anybody can say, "Oh, I have 50 million naira. Let me invest"?
I mean, I can't give you the answer because, to be honest, business is business at the end of the day. There's no, the same way you can think about tech right now and put your money in tech. Tomorrow you hear that the company has gone down or something happened. So I can't really say there's anything, but we just have to keep working and pushing and all, working together to be able to grow the economy, the system, the industry, so that everything can work on.
Thank you for joining us on this insightful conversation as we continue to explore the multifaceted world that is the entertainment industry. Stay tuned for more conversations and discussions like this. I am Ifeoluwa Johnson and this is Souq News. Bye-bye.
My name is Dr. Rafiu or Ladipo.
My name is Baba Jalal Repega.
I'm Reverend Juliet Binitie.
I'm God Didi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Suleiman.
Souq News is on the ground, loading.
Very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to Souq News.
So I'm happy that Souq TV has come into existence.
I'm happy to be here in the Souq News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for? And I think Souq News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and Souq News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching Souq News.
Keep watching Souq News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching Souq News.
Thank you for having me today at home. And yes, I'm happy to share with you my professional journey and also academic experience. Now, I started my academic journey after a brief professional career on the ship as a marine engineer. I also work in the port with mask line, also related to maritime activities. And later I went to pursue a marine technology career. And marine technology is like it's very interesting course at that time. It's a mix of all field of maritime with 60% naval architecture, and the rest 40% are maritime transportation, marine science, science of the waves, and ship construction, and also maritime economics. So that's why it's called marine technology. It's a very interesting course. I went for master degree on that, and when I finished that, I was then hired by Malaysia Maritime Academy to teach as an expert rate lecturer. And after that, when I was teaching, and then I enrolled to do my PhD in marine technology with mechanical engineering, but with more focus on marine risk. So I become a marine risk expert. I work on how to de-risk marine system before they are built, when they are built, when they have to be operated, and at the end of their life, because the reason was working on land and working at sea is totally different. And from time, only the nuclear industry, the airline industry, they normally work on risk across all the system chain or system process to at least remove all the risk or reduce it or control what they cannot remove. And later, the International Maritime Organization get aggressive about this as well. And the former safety assessment method for system across maritime processes are introduced. And this is what I work on. And also, they also encourage the industry to use goal-based approach that focus on objective to achieve a sustainable end for process and also for product related to marine industry. Why? Because the maritime industry is overkill with rules. Why? Because of safety. For many years, there are always like accidents, and they have imposed a lot of rules in a very reactive way. And they now thought that, okay, it's time to start using proactive approach to implement or to implement safety. So that was why they become aggressive about using risk. And this is what I work on. And after I graduated, with PhD in marine risk, safety and environmental risk and reliability, modeling of marine systems, I had to implement or use the model I developed in different maritime areas. This include port, it include renewable energy related to infrastructure close to water resources. It include risk related to operations of marine infrastructure close to the coast or offshore or in deep water. And during this period, then I was later employing the university. I started teaching in the university and conducting research related to first energy and environment because of my background. Then later, I have to switch to working on developing new technology to explore the ocean. Because the resources of the ocean need to be explored. And I started exploring this, and this happened because of the need. It was a need-based situations with local people who are struggling to float devices to cultivate the ocean. And later, during the course of academic period, I did a lot of work on de-risking work, and most of what I did, I published them in close to 280 peer-reviewed journals and 12 books, and that is good because in academic we have a slogan that it's either we publish or perish, and it's good, and I encourage the African to Nigerian to cultivate this approach of publishing their work, because this is a legacy they can leave for other people to also benefit from what they are working on, and to bring awareness, and also to always give them backing when times come to talk about what they have also spent their time with. Yes, writing a book is very challenging. Generally, writing is challenging because most of the time we have the impression that what we teach and what we write is an indication, a measure that we know what we're doing. And this is also a good advice for everybody to try to write something, and writing has been a culture even from the age when we don't have papers and all of that. Now, the first book was very challenging. My first book was on sustainable maintenance of navigation channel. I basically wrote about how to maintain the passage where ships are passing, and how to make them sustainable, not just dredging, but also to take the marine life into consideration, the ecological life, because these are natural systems that allow us to live. And the book also emphasizes on the risk aspect for people working in this area to properly take holistic risk work that cover everything that surrounds this kind of operations. And for example, most of the time when we try to do this kind of work, the water is struggling. We'll be struggling to go somewhere else, and also the marine animals and all of this. So my book focused on this, and then my book focused on also calculations about how wide how to measure the width of the channel, and also the ship to match it with the ship that can enter the channel. And beside that, later I published another very interesting book on applied safety and environmental risk, and applied safety and environmental risk model for marine systems. And this book is very interesting. It's about 500 pages, and it covers everything we are talking about today about blue economy. At that time, the topic in 2013, when I published this book, the topic was not like this, but I put loads of my experience, my observation from risk related to inland waterways, risk related to dredging, to aquaculture, to deep sea water, to operations of liquefied natural gas ships, risk related to human, because there are always human error also in marine operations, and how to tackle them, and also the use of simulation for marine training. So these are the two very challenging books. And on top of that, I also published other books like Marine Technology and Sustainable Development. It really covers more elements of blue economy as well. It introduced other area like the use of ocean energy, and this was there are also contributions from other authors in this book. The blue economy word was first coined by Gunther Pauli. He's a Belgian. In 2014, and that was during COP #3 in Japan, and that was when it was first coined. And the blue economy, that in the COP #3 they were talking about Kyoto Protocol and issues about refrigeration pollution, ozone layers, and all of that. That was when it was first coined. But later along the road, more and more people started accepting the importance of water, because in daily talk, except in Africa, because in Africa we know what water means, and in daily life, normal human being forgets how valuable water is. And for many years, governments and also institutions, society never look much about the value of salt water. We always think it's salty and useless, that when you look at the ratio of the seawater in our planet to the ratio of land and even fresh water is very high. And it is in this salt water that a lot of life are thriving. They are living. And most of this salt water, maybe 95% of it has not been explored. So, beside that, it is also the ocean, this big ocean with the salt water, that most of our waste from land are empty into, and it cures it every day. And so, because of all of this, they led to the concept of blue economy, and in most developed institutions, they don't call it blue economy, but a lot of research are done in different directions. And today, I think all these elements and components are being put together now by most governments as blue economy, and I am very happy. Nigerian government come up with a idea of blue economy and maritime. Joining them together is even much more brilliant. And then some other countries like Kenya, for example, and like Tunisia, etc. They are also, because most countries that have water now, they are looking into this. And coincidentally, I'm also doing a project for German government. It's not called blue economy, but it's a component of blue economy. It involves, for example, assessing the risk of introducing new technology into the ocean to cultivate life. And the second component involves assessment of co-production, when we co-cultivate, for example, marine life, for example, fish, seaweed, and wind farm or wave energy. Okay, how do you do this? How do we plan the ocean to accommodate this? And these are not something we can just do like that. It has to be well planned, even especially in European water, for example. There are more congestion possibility, and also in some area it's impossible to implement this because of maybe the past and because of data. So the third aspect is stakeholder engagement and processes, how to engage the stakeholder and how to engage them for acceptability, because eventually, so these three things are also component of blue economy. So now blue economy has evolved. So every country are looking into this now, and they are building strategy to implement this now. And the implementation is going to be different for different countries. It's going to be site-based, it's going to be data-driven. But it is a very, very brilliant approach of integrating systems. Because when you integrate systems, they become more efficient, they also become more cost-effective, and they also provide the opportunity for data sharing, for communication, for things to work together. Just the same thing like different trees, they make magic in the forest. So this is what would be the magic of blue economy, and I think I am glad it evolved, and eventually most of the work I did are just around this, from sailing on the ship to working as a marine technologist to working on developing new technology to farm the ocean, and to involving industries. I involve industry in some project I did related to this, like Technip, like Bureau Veritas, for example, and this is also very key to implementation of blue economy, and also I introduced project-based learning, which is going to be key to the way to bring in the workforce to drive the blue economy.
Okay. Yeah, it's very interesting and move for Nigeria to come up with a system to combine maritime activities with blue economy, and again, blue economy involve the sustainable use of the ocean resources, the big ocean, and the sustainable use of water resources in a way that it benefits or it produces economic benefit, and it also produces ecological benefits. Like we cannot say that we want to develop and also forget about the ecology. They have made, in some countries, they made mistake about this. For example, they cut trees, and 10 years later, they are looking for birds, and then they started fixing it. So the blue economy is around this too. Like, if there is something need to be restored, okay, that site need to adopt a model, a different model. So different site, the starting point will be site-based, different maritime sites, starting with the component of blue economy, for example, maritime existing systems like ships and port. This has been what water has been mostly used for, and there are other activities. Water, marine, natural resources can be used for example, the waves, the energy is, even the wind that resort to wave energy. They are forces that we can tap to generate, for example, energy to power our system, and also to distribute them for other places on land. And then the food sustainability, like land use, for example, by producing more protein from the oceans, we can spare more land, because land is very scarce. It's only 30% of the ocean, and we should not be using land to cultivate fish, for example. We should use land to, the ocean, to cultivate fish, and then seaweed is another area that many people don't know much about related to the blue economy under aquaculture. They are more or less called the hidden champion of the ocean in Europe because they can be used to produce food material, food supplement, pharmaceutical, and a lot of other things we use land for. And the starting point now for your question for blue economy will be site-based, will be also use-based, use case-based, and from the use case, like I mentioned earlier, we have to talk about what are the technology and the infrastructure needed for this site. Now, if we deploy this technology and infrastructure, what are the impacts? And here, then we need a stakeholder to involve. Who are the stakeholders to discuss how much interest they have and to rank the power of their interest and all of this, and to make sure they have what they need to support the blue economy, because this, especially the stakeholder part, is very important, and involving the community in blue economy is also very important because eventually they will be the one to provide a protection that is needed. Why did I say this? Because working on land is totally different from working in the sea. So the starting point will be site dependent. For example, site and infrastructure dependent. If a site already has a terminal that can be used for one of the activities of blue economy, and then this site will require less attention related to infrastructure. And now, the other things is, if a site, we also need to look at what are the history of this site, for example. That is where data will be needed about what kind of wave or wind they have, the water quality of this site, and the biodiversity of marine life, and we need to look at the nature of the seabed, and all of these need to be incorporated into the technology deployment. Now, from my experience, most of the time, the engineer and biologists can hardly work together. Most of the time, there is always a very big friction. But I am one of the persons that break a barrier between engineering and biology. And even we did a project on why the skill set between engineering, biology, and social governance are not working, which was sponsored by the British Council. And so that would be the starting point, to look at the site, to look at what they need, and to look at activities that can be done for the site. And now to also look at how the activities will also benefit people that are not close to water resources. For example, what I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of industry very close to most of the river, but there are also lots of industry on land. And most of the time, especially in this age of adaptation, whereby we are trying to adapt to climate change, and also we are trying to review past design, because most design of the system did not incorporate climate within the process and biodiversity. And this, for example, the effect and also the use of natural resources that will benefit the industry in terms of bio-based material from the ocean need to also be looked at. We need a blue economy. Okay, education in Nigeria is, I think there is a good systems, I mean, of education throughout. There are many changes over the years from this, from A level to 6334, for example, and when you look at the whole process and the program, which is done mostly like every other country, more or less like a top-down program whereby they look at the goal of the country to come up with policies, and then the programs are deduced from this, and from there you have the curriculum for the program. Now, these are all good, and the system is there, but the system needs to be more human. For example, to provide the tools that the kids need all the time. This is very important for the student to be able to concentrate on the study. Nigerian and generally African students study in a very hard way all the way, and they always excel somehow in the world. And this is all good, but the deficiency I have seen, because I used to be visiting professor to Akwa Ibom State University, and I have seen less research being done in the university. Now, research matters a lot, and the research are being done in some other places, but they are not taken very, very serious. Why research matter? Because most of the new things are with age. Okay, beside the curriculum, they are coming from the discovery, the research. So this is very important to take serious in our academic system, and research also require to be funded. But the mentality that, okay, there is no need to put money in research, okay, but to rather put money in something that is already working is not the way to be a leader in academic and technology in the world. Now, it is this education system, whether in terms of practical or in terms of soft skill. Okay, this is what will always determine the future of our country. For another example, I have seen in many places in our country, the maintenance culture is very poor, and maybe this needs to be quickly incorporated into education. And um, uh, when new system, for example, the blue economy the blue economy ministry that was a maritime that was just started coming, and then new program need to kick in as well, and they need to be implemented differently. Okay, so this is one thing. The other thing is in many of our villages, a large percentage of our youth go for handicraft, and in this, some part of education is missing in terms of theory, how to implement what they learn. For example, they cannot do breakdown of their work and all of this. So we need to do more about this. And thirdly, is knowledge and education is not about, and also research, is not about doing and put it in the shelf. Okay, we need to look at the applications, okay, to who is going to be beneficial. We cannot simply do research or teach and put everything in the shelf. We must look at how it's going to be continuously be beneficial or support the growing of the person and the system. Because eventually we need to look at how, for example, our data can be translated to products and services that the society are looking for. So this is something that we need to look at, and also we also need to look at how part of the tax that the working class are paying are used to fund our research. Okay, and yes, we need investment, but the moment we are able to do this also, we are able to show that we are doing something serious. Okay, this will also help to accelerate investment. And lastly, the education system mostly like a foundation system, and it depends on the person what you want to build on it. And meaning, even if the system provides everything, we also need to incorporate the programs that will help the student to be able to develop what they learn, and also to be able to be human about what they learn, because education is not only about knowing mathematics, but it's also about how to make the right decision about what is correct.
My name is Dr. Rafiu or Ladipo.
My name is Baba Jalal Repega.
I'm Reverend Juliet Binitie.
I'm Didi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Suleiman.
Souq News is on the ground, loading.
Very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to Souq News.
So I'm happy that Souq TV has come into existence.
I'm happy to be here in the Souq News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for. And I think Souq News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and Souq News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching Souq News.
Keep watching Souq News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching Souq News.